Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the deep end of decentralized finance. We're going to figure out how to spot a real money printer by decoding one of its most important pieces, the liquidity pool.
So let's get right to it. This is the question every single person in DeFi asks themselves. You're looking at a pool and you're wondering, is this a genuine gold mine or is it a complete ghost town? How do you know if you're about to make a great move or a huge mistake? Well, stick with me because we're about to give you a super simple framework to figure that out.
And you know what? The secret isn't some crazy, complicated formula that you need a PhD to understand. Nope. It all boils down to the relationship between just two key numbers. And once you get this, you're going to see the entire DeFi space in a completely new way. All right, first up, let's talk about the bedrock of any solid pool. It's a little something called Total Value Locked, or TVL for short. So what is TVL? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like the depth of a swimming pool. It's literally the total amount of cash that investors have parked inside that pool, securing all the trades.
And if we look at our example here, this SOL/USDC pool, we're talking over $44 million locked in. Now that is a pretty deep pool, right?
So why does this even matter? Well, a high TVL isn't just for show. It's your safety net. It means the pool is deeper, more stable, and safer. It means when you make a trade, you get less slippage, which is just a fancy way of saying the price you get is the price you actually wanted. A shallow pool, on the other hand, that's where you see those wild, risky price swings.
Okay, so we've got our deep, safe pool. But here's the thing. A giant pool with no one actually swimming in it is kind of pointless, right? That is where our second piece of the puzzle comes in, volume. This is where the action is.
And if we stick with our swimming pool analogy, if TVL is the depth of the water, then volume is all the splashing going on. It's a direct measure of how much trading, how much buying and selling is happening in that pool.
And check this out, our example pool, it saw over $241 million in trades in just one day. That is a ton of activity, a whole lot of splashing.
And all that splashing, well, that's what gets you paid. See, as a liquidity provider, someone who puts their cash into the pool, you get a tiny slice of every single trade. So it's simple. More volume equals more trading fees, which means more income for you. A pool with no volume is just a dead pool.
All right, let's put it all together. We've got TVL, that's our safety net. And we've got volume, that's our profit engine. Now it's time to combine them to unlock the master formula, the one ratio that helps us find the most efficient pools out there.
And I am not kidding here. This is probably the single most important ratio in all of DeFi. Why? Because it tells you, plain and simple, how hard the money in that pool is actually working.
And here's the formula. It's beautiful in its simplicity. You just take the 24-hour volume and you divide it by the total value locked. That's it. This gives you a number that tells you how efficient that pool is.
So let's do the math for our example pool. We take that huge $241 million volume, divide it by the $44 million in TVL, and what do we get? We get a number around 5.4, or put another way, that's 540%. What that means is this pool traded its entire value over 5 times in a single day. That's insane efficiency.
So what does a 5.4 actually mean? Well, this chart here breaks it down perfectly. You see, anything below 0.3, yeah, you want to stay away from that. A pool with a ratio around 1 is pretty strong. But our pool, at 5.4, look at that. It's right there in the money printer category. This is exactly what we're looking for.
Okay, so that ratio is your secret weapon. But let's add a few more tools to your belt with a quick Pro-LP checklist. LP just stands for liquidity provider, which is you. These are just a couple of other things you want to keep an eye on.
Now here's a real pro tip for you. You want to compare the pool's TVL to the entire market cap of the token. Think about it. If you have a massive skyscraper, that's the market cap, but it's built on a tiny little foundation, that's the TVL, it's going to be shaky, right? You want a nice, strong foundation of liquidity holding up that asset. That's a much safer place to be.
So let's boil it all down into this simple checklist. On the good side, what are we looking for? Our magic ratio over 1.0. Fees that are going up, growing liquidity, and of course, strong, reliable assets. And what do we want to avoid? The bad stuff, a low ratio. TVL dropping off a cliff, a token nobody cares about. You get the idea. Okay, we've gone through a lot. TVL, volume, that magic ratio. But if you walk away with just one single thing today, I want it to be this.
This is it. Don't just look at one number in isolation.
A huge TVL is okay. High volume is great. But the real story, the secret to finding those incredible opportunities, is in how those two numbers relate to each other. It's all about that volume to TVL ratio.
So there you have it. You've got the formula. You've got the checklist. You now know exactly how to look at a liquidity pool and see if it's a hidden gem or just a dud. The power is in your hands. Now go find those money printers,